Okay, let's continue with the last slide of this chapter, the DED chapter. We discussed the advantages of direct energy deposition system. Now it's time for some disadvantages. The first one is actually the poor resolution and the surface quality. And if you look at the examples I have shown you, we have high surface softness, and also the process is quite difficult to control, especially for thin walls. And that's why we can say that its resolution and the surface quality is low compared to the other additive manufacturing processes. And there's a slower build speed compared to some other technologies. Since we have a single head, we need to expel powder around it. We need to cover the whole slice. We don't have infill percentages. So in summary, we can say that it's a quite slower process compared to other additive manufacturing processes. Another issue, we cannot produce complicated shapes, structures, as we are doing in powder bed fusion processes. Since we need to have, if that's the case, we need to have structures, special supporting structures, but it's quite difficult to obtain the support structures with this method. It's not easy to obtain, since as you know, in the support structures, we have thin walls or thin, let's say, cylindrical parts, and these kind of structures are quite impossible to produce with direct energy deposition systems. And for complicated parts, we need to have multi-axis heads, and in some companies they have such a feature, but again, it's not an easy process, easy thing. It increases obviously the cost of your machine, and the controlling becomes complicated. And we need to do some post-processing after the part is fabricated. You need to clean the part, since we will have powders around the part. They maybe stick to your part. So you need to have a cleaning stage. And also, if you're not satisfied with the surface quality, you need to do some maybe even machining to increase the surface quality. And lastly, since we are producing the parts on a substrate, you need to remove the part from the substrate by using some other finishing operations like wire EDM or sewing kind of manufacturing processes can be used to remove your parts from the substrate. So this actually sums up the direct energy deposition systems. Any questions, guys? About anything about direct energy deposition systems?
Hocam doğru anladım da. Sen mi soracaksın?
Sen devam et.
Doğru anladım değil mi? Support structure yok bunlarda.
We don't prefer to use, since it's quite difficult to construct the support structure. We prefer to just have some shapes on the available parts. We cannot produce as complicated structures as in powder bed fusion systems. We have actually such a limitation in terms of complexity, since support structures are not easy to produce. But if you want to do it, you can have, and the thing is that once you have support structures, then you need to spend lots of time on removing these support structures. So we don't prefer, in summary, to produce complicated parts on these machines.
Teşekkür ederim hocam.
You're welcome. Other questions?
Geçmişteki bir fotoğrafta sadece bu yöntemle üretebiliyoruz bunu demiştiniz de, yani sadece bu yöntemle üretebildiğimiz şeyler, yani böyle kırıkları vesaire tamir etmek dışında bir şey oluyor mu? Yani tam olarak neden sadece bu yöntemle üretebiliyoruz, başka şeylerle üretemiyoruz? Onu tam anlayamadım ben.
So this was the example. Can you name me any other manufacturing process that we can manufacture such a piece?
Ama bunda da mesela thin wall var. Yani bu sonuçta şey olabilir, güzel üretilemeyebilir bu yöntemle. Bunun yerine material jetting'le de yapamaz mıyız?
It's quite difficult. In material jetting, we don't have much powerful metal systems. In material jetting, we prefer to have polymers. We can try to do testing, as your friend pointed out, but not easy. You need to have many molds. With a single mold, you cannot obviously do it. You need to have multiple parts in your mold, and it will be quite costly. And this is, as you see, you have an available part, and you start constructing these extra parts on top of it. So it's a nice property.